Okay, I think we should be live now on all of the channels. It's really weird. I can't get the view to fit. Oh, there we go. Fixed it. So yeah, feeling a little more awake tonight. So feeling excited to sorry, I got distracted. I'm trying to figure out if I'm running my CPU way too hot. I've noticed my computer's like really loud. Whenever I shut it down, I'm like, oh, it's so quiet in here now. And uh, and so I was like, well, let me check on my settings. And I'm like, oh, I'm like maxing out my fans like at all times. So I set them lower, but now I'm super paranoid. I'm gonna like overheat my computer. I think the biggest issue is that I'm running a lot of monitors. I don't know enough about like computer working stuff. Like I used to build computers when I was like younger, but like very basic, like just put computers together from components. But I don't really know enough to like know if that would impact it. But I have like two ultra wides, a vertical, and then I also have a like a built-in monitor in my case. So I'm running like two massive monitors and then one regular size and then one tiny one. So four monitors. Um, and I get like weird visual artifacts sometimes too. Like sometimes my monitors will just like blink out black for a second and then turn back on. So I'm just guessing I'm like I need a more specialized or like particular video card. I think I have like I should check what I have. I think I have a 3090, but but yeah, anyway. So I don't know. I'm distracted by watching my gauge and I'm getting some feedback on what it should be set at. Don't let it get past 95 Celsius. I'm guessing that's what C is on these. Oh, I'm saying 52. I'm fine. Okay. Okay. So I was like worried for no reason. I guess my GPU though is at 76, so that's much closer. Um, and that's the one that I figure is probably the one that I might be taxing a lot. Anyway, this is probably really boring. I probably don't care about my computer hardware. So let's talk about Trash Heist. So today we are going to be working on cool objective Rube Goldberg type things. So earlier today, I built some new things that are going to be kind of fun to show. So let me show you guys that. I built a little security camera. So this guy here, of course, not final art or anything, which I'll probably keep saying just for my own sake constantly. Wait a second. That's weird. The pivot is different. There we go. Okay, sorry. But yeah, so we have the security camera here, and basically when a raccoon enters the vision cone, or vision sphere, I guess in this case, they will freeze. I should have totally prepped the fun little like video of the raccoon on a porch that someone caught who like froze and they like stood there all like panicked and frozen while the light was on them. So they'll freeze, and then if the camera like looks away, then they will go in the opposite direction than they came. So basically, they will retreat. So if you get seen by a camera, that's basically it. And now, an interesting side effect of this is I could see an interesting puzzle where you want to get caught by the camera. You then need to modify something else in the level so that way when your raccoon runs backwards, they hit that new thing that they can only hit going backwards. So that could be interesting. So yeah, you want to avoid these. Other things like these red doors and yellow windows, they'll stop your progress, right? You have to like be the right color to get through them. But this is the only thing in the game currently that will reverse your progress. So it will actually send the ball backwards, and basically exit out the map the way it came. So pretty excited about that. I think that'll be fun. It animates. There's some cool logic behind it. If I click in, I can show you a little bit. This component is kind of ugly because it contains a bunch of things, but basically we can set two different angles. and it will move between those two angles we set. And then we can decide how long it sits at the end point. So basically it'll stop at the end of its rotation and say, okay, I'm going to look here for a little bit. So 6 seconds, and then it moves to the next one. And the travel speed, the higher that number it is, the faster it'll go to the second spot. So yeah, I can show you how it works in action. All right, so yeah, I need to keep an eye on the GPU temperature. It's a 77. 80 is where I need to start worrying, so I'll just keep. Okay, so yeah, we can see it's just kind of peeking around. And then if I were to launch this raccoon, yeah, of course I launched him when he wasn't in range. I should probably have waited. Oh, you almost got to see the elevator though, which I will show you in a minute here. Let me wait for this camera to get in the right spot. There you go. But so see, he freezes, and then he's like, "Yeah, forget this. Let me get out of here," and he retreats. So yeah, I will show you the elevator now, which is that kind of checkered patterned item. Oh right, I in the actual game we can adjust angle. I can kind of fake it here. Give me just a second. I have to click into the actual raccoon and manually set his angle. We'll try that for fun, just cause. So mostly to show like off the debug how this debug stuff works. So if we ever want to, we can always like force a launch trajectory if I can find the right script. Yeah, so right now the angle's at 0. I think this would be like, it's really tough because it's near that edge. I'm just gonna say like -20. Might be +20, we'll see. Let's see if that's enough to I think it moved at a different angle. I actually honestly couldn't tell. That might not have even done anything. But you know what? We'll be real lazy. We'll just drag him and drop him into the right place. So launch him, pause, and then we'll just put him onto the elevator. Earlier I was testing it by just like I put a spawn right by that elevator. Do that. Okay, now we can watch. So you see some walls popped up. So that's to keep them inside the elevator. The elevator then raises, the walls pop down, and the character can now go. So right now, it basically is a way to get to this like the final room once you unlock that final room. But pretty happy with that. So we can use that elevator now across the level and do all sorts of fun stuff with it. Cool. But now the reason I built those were basically to, well, the elevator was actually for one of my artists who's doing some level design, and they wanted to do a second floor. But the camera was for me because I want to start making these objectives that will change how we interact with the map. So we'll do things and certain things will change around the map. So today we're going to be working on like coming up with those ideas. I have a few ideas started, so I'm going to be like just kind of brainstorming out loud, and then I'm going to try to build one of them, so that way you can modify the map by interacting with it. I am going to go get a energy drink to fuel this power while I keep an eye on this. Throughout this whole stream, I'm going to be like, hey, so right now we're at 78.5 degrees Celsius on my GPU. Everything else is pretty chill. No pun intended. I'm getting lots of good advice, so I appreciate it. Anyway, I'll be right back. 2 minutes. Okay, I am back. What's interesting is, so I went and got a Red Bull, sponsor me, and and it dropped in the 60s for GPU temperature. Uh, I just clicked back in, and now it's like upper 70s. So I don't know if it was just asleep. I don't think it was because it seems to be updating live. I feel like NVIDIA broadcast is doing it. Let me, I think, try to remember if I have a view that doesn't have my webcam on. Let me disable my webcam for just a second. All right, we are at 78 still. Yeah, it drops to 62. Holy cow. That doesn't even seem right. Is that, like, temperature couldn't change that fast, right? That's, oh, anyway, I'm like totally, right before I started the stream, I started looking into this, and so now I'm like very distracted. Okay, back to business. Let's talk game development. Let's make sure that we are on, we are hosted on good old Discord. Looks like we are. Wonderful. And it looks like nice. We got a new person dropped into the Game Developers of Dallas Discord. If you aren't a part of that Discord, you should be. That is where I post about more stuff and where you can hang out and talk video games. Okay, that's all good. Let me pull up my notes I started to make earlier and we can talk about. All right. So, the idea is that we want to make fun little objectives throughout the map, like little, almost like Easter eggs. Like you hit a thing and then a little series of actions unfold. Now, the what's really good for brainstorming stuff, like just to get your creative juices going, I found, is to rubber duck with ChatGPT. Because most of the ideas aren't usable because they're just kind of like, yeah, it's not quite what I meant, but sometimes it'll just like spark an idea. And that's what happened in this case. It talked about like the raccoon going in a washing machine. I was like, that's a fun idea. Like that seems silly. So then I basically took that and like its specifics weren't all solid, but one thing it had was the idea of where was it? Oh yeah, like it shakes and kind of moves, the whole thing kind of moves and then it opens up a new path. That's interesting. And so like, yeah, maybe now there's like an air vent or something that it was blocking that is now open. Another thing that it could do, I guess that's the same thing. I guess I wrote that in two places. Shake around and moves out of the way of the vent. I think what would be kind of fun is make the whole screen shake. So you would like a lot more visual reward. As I said it out loud, I'm like, it's kind of weird that just because the washing machine shook, there's like a hole in the wall. I don't know about that. Makes a little more sense for the dryer because like the dryer has an vent that, I mean, definitely is way too small for a raccoon, but there is the idea that maybe the shaking of the washing machine is so violent that something gets like knocked over somewhere else in the house. It's easier to read when it was, yeah, there we go. And then this idea of like the washing machine now leaks and it's leaking water everywhere. And so when a player moves through water, they go slower. Normally I would think it'd be slick, but there is no real way to like increase slickness because normally slickness is like ice in games. It limits your ability to make turns, but once you've launched a raccoon, you have no control over it anyway. So it would be hard to like communicate slipperiness very well. So I think slowness would be could be an effect of water, like they're trudging through the water. It could also be like a status effect, maybe. I don't know if I love that idea. It's like kind of going down a rabbit hole, but now the raccoons are wet, so if they touch certain things, that will have an impact, which could be interesting. It's just, again, it's a rabbit hole like that opens up a lot of design things to worry about. Another idea is like they chew through a water line, screen shakes, sprinkler objects, which are these like kind of blue things here that just kind of rotate. You have to kind of pretend they're like streams of water that make the raccoons be like, I don't want to be wet, and they kind of run away. We could say that those go really, really small, so they're still there, but they're like just kind of meaningless as because the water pressure is low. And then again, we like fill the yard with water. These are like just the starts of ideas. I think the first thing I'd like to do is try and come up with like categorical things that the stages of a, what should we call these? Like they're objectives that typically trigger these, but like let's call them event triggers. So like what are the stages of impact that the event triggers have? So I started to try to like define them categorically. So we have like an interactable payoff. So this is just like the flash, like the screen shake and like, oh, like something happened cool. It's just purely visual. GPU's at 78. I think we're good. A spawn point added. That was another really good idea, that like we spawn new spawn points, so you get more access across the map. A path somehow changes. Escalating impact. This is like the idea that maybe over the course of the game, now like things are getting more intense or something like that. I don't know if I love all these though. Not only, I like the high level idea of both of these, and I like some things, like I like the screen shake. But I don't know if like as a category, like these are the things that everyone needs to have. So like I said, I'm going to kind of like be thinking through this out loud. So we definitely need a visual payoff. I don't know if everything needs to make a spawn point. I think that would be nice. So I think we let's just say it does, and we just have to get creative. Like we will need to find a way to make a spawn point. So that way, you know, if I've done an objective, I'm going to get access to somewhere else in the level. And I think having that expectation is nice. So I think we should always have that. In fact, let me even take these and like make, we'll call this like rules of objective completions. Hopefully my sound is okay. Today I realized that I was getting like a lot of background noise, and so I turned on a background noise filter. Not a gate, so it shouldn't like pop in and out, but it is a filter, which means it might affect the quality of what you're hearing. So hopefully it sounds okay. But if it doesn't, let me know. I can always turn it back off. Rules of objective completion events. Maybe we should say template. Objective completion event template. Okay, let's move all these out of our sideline. Okay, so the first thing we need is like name of event. Example, ride the washing machine. Interactable payoff. I don't like the way I'm formatting this. Of course, I'm using Notepad, which doesn't give me a lot of options, but okay, not italicize in Notepad. I thought I had rich text. I guess not. That's fine. Whatever. Name of event. And then we need to have an interactable payoff. And so here we would say, in fact, let me open up a Google Doc so I can do some more formatting, because it's going to be visually hard for me to compose my thoughts otherwise. What is this? Oh, it's like a weird AI thing. Every software, like, oh my God, we need dark mode immediately. Ask Gemini, please put this in dark mode. AI, if you're worth anything. Okay, you know what? Yeah, useless, useless. Oh my goodness. Shield your eyes. I'm certain there's a way to do dark mode. I just have to find it. Where's dark mode? I know you have to have it. I would be shook if you did not. It's under accessibility. No. Okay, I'm gonna have to look up how to do dark mode on Google Docs. Oh, there's an extension? That seems. Tap menu, tap settings, choose theme. So open Google Doc, tap menu on the top left. I don't think that is correct because there's nothing that says there's menus, there's settings. Yeah, preferences. There's just nothing here. That is okay. We will just see one. Maybe that's just like a preference setting. Oh, thank God. That's still bright as hell though. I'm literally getting a freaking plugin. That's so dumb. So how do I make it work? I'm in Google Doc. Repair refresh. Ah, there we go. Okay. We can all be happy. Mostly just me. Because no one else probably cares as much as me. Okay. I also can blend in. Like I'm wearing a black shirt, so it's fun. I could almost be a floating head if like I didn't have writing on my shirt. Okay. Let's paste this back in. Okay, so we need a name of event. And then we need, for example, we put examples below. And then we need interactable payoff. So I think we should like define what it is, right? So like definition. A fun name that is short but makes the player want to interact with the objective. Ideally, heist theme or funny or both. All right, so now let's make this smaller and not bold. And left aligned. Why are you entered? There we go. Okay, starting to get a little bit easier to read. And then down here we would write example. Okay, cool. So yeah, name event. I think I even want to put this all caps. And then this is now the format that we can repeat. Extractable payoff. Okay, so a visual effect like screen shaking or animations that add a fun visual feedback that you did a task. This should ideally permanently change the world, change the game level in some way. Example of here would be the entire camera shakes along with a washing machine shaking around. That's not changing the world. That would be, I guess, the next thing. So maybe we remove that part of the visual payoff. Oh, this should all be caps too. Okay, so then we have that. 80 seconds. Raccoon is inside. Okay, and then the next thing would be add a spawn point. Every objective completed unlocks at least one new spawn point somewhere on the map. Are these different font sizes? Yeah, yours should be 11. Okay. So now an example of a spawn point. Could say maybe having a hard time picturing the washing machine shaking around enough to cause things to go crazy, but we'll make it work. So we'll say washing machine knocks away the dryer and pops open the dryer vent, which that wouldn't really be a spawn point though. I mean, I guess it could be both. We could have it create a spawn point and a new path all in the same fell swoop. I think that one could probably use some work. Like where else could we add a spawn point? So if we get in the washing machine, it shakes around, it goes crazy. It could be leaking. Yeah, let's keep with the dryer, I guess. Washing machine knocks away the dryer, pops up in the dryer vent, which causes the which creates a new spawn point outside of dryer vent. This next one, I feel like add a spawn point and path alterations are kind of like the same. I'm starting to wonder if it should be like one or the other. Like either we add a spawn point or we change a path. I'd like to do both though. But this one, the problem with this is like in its, I guess it doesn't change a path. It makes a new path here because there's a new spawn point. All right, so the next one we'll say path alteration somewhere in the level, a wall, door, window. Just crossed my mind, like, I wonder if in place of this, it could also add a power up or something. So like a multi-ball or something else changes. GPU is now at 79.5, so it is hovering around a little hot. Or does it help that it's like actually hot in here now too? Which actually I think a good idea would be to open the window. Be right back. Okay. It is actually very chilly outside, so having the window even just like cracked open, I can already tell is like it's now colder in here than than the rest of the house within a few moments. So I'll probably get up in a bit and close the window. But hey, we are still below 80 on our GPU temp. Okay, back to our planning. So yeah, we have name of events, interactable payoff. We need to add a spawn point somewhere. We need to alter the path somewhere in the level. Now we're thinking maybe we don't alter the path. Maybe we also like add a power up, something like that. I don't know. We basically like, we just want to be modifying the level in some way. I think that could be like additional bonus is like add something. Somewhere in the level, a wall, door, window, or furniture Let's see. Elevator. Or security camera. See, I feel like this list will grow as we have more features, because that's just like items I know now, but like up until today, there was no security camera. So security camera changes position or is changed in some way that new navigation paths are now possible. So like that's the biggest thing. It's like we need to make a new navigation path. Now we can spawn somewhere new. That's just the start. So we want to make like a new navigation path. I don't know if this means like a new area necessarily needs to be accessible. That none of these actually speak to like a whole new section of the map becomes accessible. That could be interesting though. That could be interesting. So many new navigations are now possible, or an entirely new area becomes accessible. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, so in this case, we already did a spawn point for the dryer vent. I wonder if we would put the spawn point in the washroom, in the washroom then. Like, hey, we have this new entry path. No, I think we should put it outside. This path alteration though, I had this other idea of like the shaking is so violent that somewhere else in the level something falls over. So let's say washing machine shakes so violently a lamp falls over and creates a new pathway through, we'll say new obstacle. Well, it's not really, creates a way to more easily route raccoons into a previously hard to reach bedroom. Let's say that seems good. Okay, and then the last one we have, assuming that we covered them all, is escalating impact. Which I don't know if that's, so like the idea here, like path alteration is permanent, spawn point permanently as the map. Even interactable payoff might not necessarily, but like these two, a new spawn point and especially path alterations, like the map is permanently affected. The escalating impact was kind of around the idea that we want these houses or these places to like tell a story. So it's probably not the right name for it. In fact, we should just say tell a story. And we want there to be like a fun story told through playing these levels. The obstacles should create events that tell a story. So by the end of the level, when all objectives are completed, we feel we got to a narrative payoff at the location. The raccoons are oblivious. I can spell oblivious, it's a hard word to spell. Oblivious to the to this narrative. They are just focused on the heist. The player playing can appreciate this secondary, I don't want to call it secondary, this this plot. Let me rephrase that. This plot is made so the player can appreciate it, and the game can tell a more meaningful, can make a more meaningful statement and feel like a deeper experience overall. Okay, I'm really filling this out as like kind of a guide to myself for later, but also I can feed it into ChatGPT to give me more ideas based on these rules. So an example of this is gonna be hard because this is like gonna be the hardest one. I need to think of this. Also, let me close this window now. It's actually cold. Be right back. Okay. All right, so the only thing we have left here is coming up with an example for this one. Now this is like the washing machine one. I'm trying to think of what the heck this could be telling a more meaningful story of. I mean, I think for that it's probably going to be maybe a longer, just a no example available yet. Yeah, it'll take a little longer. Okay, I'm going to feed this in and see what it can come up with. Do I have it open anywhere? Yes. Okay. I've come up with a template / rule set for making these objective events. I tried to include example for each requirement where I wasn't able to determine a larger, more important story yet. Please provide ideas for the house and dump using this template I've provided. Okay, we'll see how it does. I love how it formats things. Like, it's just so easy to read. All right, so ride the washing machine. This is one that I'd like to do. Let's see how they modified it, if at all. Clothes and detergent flying everywhere. That could be pretty funny, actually. See, like that's like, I was picturing it shaking, but I didn't think of like clothes flying out. Like that would be pretty funny. The shaking knocks away the dryer, popping open the dryer vent, creating a new spawn outside the house. The vibration knocks over a bookshelf, revealing a hidden air entrance to the master bedroom. Maybe. I think my lamp idea was a little easier because we already have lamps in the game and I can just tip it over. But the end of the level, this chaotic washing machine accident will be the key moment that adds to the destruction escalation in the house. With later objectives like breaking the plumbing or tipping the furniture, it looks like an absurd home disaster unfolding, while our croons are just focused on stealing trash. Okay, so the story here isn't like super meaningful, right? It's just like a house gets destroyed. That's fine for now. I will want to if this gameplay is fun of these items, this element here is going to be, I think, what can make the game from like a fun game to like something that actually has like impact on the industry. So like if you think of like unpacking, right? Like if it's just organizing stuff, it's not that special, right? It's just like, okay, I'm just playing an organization game. It's the story it tells between each scene, right? So this is gonna be important later. I don't love this already. TV static attack. Like I'm not excited to go discover that as the raccoon. But let's read it. The raccoon chooses a power cable, cool, or pushes a TV remote. Turn the TV on while sparks fly from that way. That's like a little stretch. Why? Because the TV turned on. See, it's like where ChatGPT kind of stumbles sometimes, right? It's like that's kind of dumb. Yeah, those are all pretty dumb. Yeah, I don't like that one. The raccoon jumps into the dining table and knocks over a giant bowl of spaghetti in slow motion. Ugh. Okay, these ideas are bad. Okay, well let's that's a bummer. Like I was hoping for something a little better. Now I can give it feedback. I can say, hey, like let's be careful about certain props. Like right now we don't have a way to like make a raccoon jump onto a table, right? Like that's just not, we don't have a lot of elevation change. And any elevation change we have to like put a ramp, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just kind of dumb. With that said, as I just said that out loud, it might be nice to make a jump power up. I think I want to make a jump power up. Okay. Let's sidetrack and do that. Because I think that's going to be useful in general. Okay, so what we'll do is we will select this. We'll just duplicate our speed boost because it's going to be very similar, I think. We'll call this jump power up. Okay. So we're just modifying our speed boost here. So in fact, I think what I might do is, oh God. So I might just take this and point it upwards. Maybe change it to be more wide. I'm trying to think of ways we can modify this. Let's see, pulse position is on. Let's make this 0 and 0.5 here. Hope that makes it go up. I won't say jump because I just don't have the text. It's not a text object. It has to be a texture just because of the way the fog of war works. But let's change the color of it just to be something different. Sure. And then for the logic to actually make it do the thing, we have the script that originally was just multi-ball power up. Now it's become like a whole bunch of stuff. So to refactor that name at some point. So this would be jump. And then we'll put jump settings. And I think we would want to do force direction. And I think that's really all we would need. Yeah, and honestly, it's just a speed boost at an angle. This one is a float though, so yeah, let's just do. We'll keep it separate. I think it's okay to do it different. So let's. Now that we have that, we need to, a really cool trick here, when you have a switch case and you keep adding more to your enumerators, you can right click on switch, quick action, and do add missing cases, and it pops right in there. Saves a lot of time. So we are going to, we'll say boost speed, but I'm going to put right next to it, private void, jump raccoon. object to jump. We'll say raccoon because we called it a raccoon. Raccoon to jump. And then really here, I mean, this is, we just need to basically pass launch direction is just going to be, it needs to be local. Let me think here. I struggle with angles. I think what we need to do is multiply it times transform forward. No, that is incorrect. Okay, so I just want to make sure this is local. That's my only thing. I'm thinking if I look through how we do it on the slingshot, that's probably how we should do it here. So let me find the slingshot. What would that script be called? Things like launch raccoon is the function. Where are you? Okay, there's the command. It's not really what I'm looking for, though. All right, let's just go into here. Raccoon, okay, raccoon launch physics. Okay. Angle of launch. See how this works here. Yes, we keep getting angle of launch. The thing is, we want to go upward. And we want to go a little forward. But maybe because they already have forward momentum, I really just need to launch it upward. So let's try just instead of going vector, oh shit, that's vector 3 up and then transformed up forward. So it's already up. All right, we will ask our good friend ChatGPT here. Let's go back to our script we were working on. Let's say launch direction. I don't know if we need to normalize it. Impulse force to apply. See, that's interesting. So here on the impulse force to apply, that's the only value we're setting here. And so if it's 0, that means it's going straight forward. So if we want to go only on the z-axis, it's just weird that up is the second one. Oh, because that's the axis it rotates around, and I guess this would be the equivalent of like. Okay, hold on. I think I might be able to leverage that. So if up is forward, because it's rotating around y, we want to rotate around z, I believe. Let's go into our scene and like we're going to rotate something in our scene and figure out which way we want to rotate. So if we're in our scene, we want to take something like, we'll just grab this. Of course, I pick something with a weird pivot. So if we want to make this lamp, we'd want to rotate this where 0 would be perfectly up. So yeah, that's the z-axis. All right, I think that's going to be right. The tricky thing though is like, it could also go that way. Rotations just are my worst enemy. I thought it was going to like, we could just change this now. We could just try like right. Which way is that? That's on the X. So maybe left would be negative. Forward. Would that be right? Yeah. I mean, that's just transform forward. That's so weird. I don't feel like this is right. I don't want to like take a guess. I'm just gonna look for help on this. All right, so we have force direction. We may need to normalize it. I'm not sure. We'll give it a place to start. This impulse to apply is not correct. Okay, let's see if we did this right, which we probably did not, but let's investigate. I want to launch my raccoon up into the sky. Which is moving upward on the y-axis in world space. I wonder if we should just do. I was thinking if we just do a float for like how high it shoots it up. Yeah, maybe we should actually. So instead of force direction, we'll just say like jump height. I think that might be better because like we could have it like you enter it and it like shoots you at a weird angle. But I think for now, just like having you just jump up, like it just jumps you up. I think that's fine. And then in that case, I feel like it's going to be more similar to this with impulse just being jump height. Why doesn't it like that? Is jump height a vector 3? How did I change that? Oh, yeah, whoops. Okay, so now we have launch direction. But now this will shoot it forward. But I want to shoot it upward. This code below will launch the raccoon forward. How do I change it to upward? Like, I'm pretty certain it's just changing this. It's just confusing because I want it to go up, but up is forward. Maybe it's changing that, but I feel like that's using the object's forward direction, which feels important. Oh, it's just saying we get rid of the forward altogether. It's already normalized. Okay. And then in that case, we really don't need any of that. It's just that. Okay. That one feels like silly to have its own function, but let's just try to keep things consistent. Okay, so if you hit the jump, we do jump raccoon, and that should just work. So now let's hop over to Unity and see our raccoon jump, hopefully. All right, first we got to actually put a jump in the level. Try to actually click on one of these things. There we go. Okay. All right, so this is our jump. Just put it somewhere easy to hit at the beginning, just so we can test it nice and easy. I think we probably should put something underneath it so we can actually tell where it's at. It's kind of hard to see. So this one's put 90, 0, 90. Cool, 0, 0, 0, 0. And 1. I don't feel like that's centered. I think it's just optical illusion though, because yeah, it's in the prefab, like preview mode or whatever you call this mode where you're like still in the scene. So things look weird. Let's pick a different, I don't know, doesn't, there we go. And then I'm gonna go back into the scene so I can actually see where the ground is. Oh, I got pretty close. Almost. Yeah, see, that's much easier to figure out. Cool. Actually, I don't love how wide that is. I think it looks a little weird. Cool. Let's go ahead and make sure that it animates in a pleasing way. It would, except for the fact that we don't want the circle to be also moving. That's an easy fix. I do want to do it on the prefab itself, though. Oh, we need to apply our prefab overrides. Here, we'll just do this. Remove component, and then we'll apply the prefab. Okay, so now that should look right, and then we can try out our jump as well. Okay, once our avatar spawn in after this countdown. Okay, I'm going to launch. We'll see if they jump. They did do a thing, not the thing we want them to do, but I think I know why. So we did all the scripting, but if we look here, it's set to speed boost. That is not what it is. It is a jump. And so now, let's put 1. Now I'm curious how much forward momentum it'll maintain while it launches upward. I'm hoping it will maintain forward momentum. Hey, 1 is really high. Okay. 1 is too high, guys. 1 is too high. It's like 0.2. I mean, if the level design calls for it, sure. It did keep forward momentum though really well, so that's awesome. It didn't need to be grounded to have that, so I'm happy to see that. Because I really want it to be a forward jump. I think just a straight up jump is kind of useless. Yeah, that was probably too small of a jump. I think it'll just be based on like where the design of the level goes and like what you're trying to do. I do think if I had vector 3 value, I could kind of apply force in the opposite direction of you're moving. So if I wanted you to have less forward momentum, I could. Because there might be cases you want them to just hop kind of mostly straight up. Yeah, you know, as much of a hassle as it is, I think we do actually want it to have more control than that. Let's go ahead. This is me talking to ChatGPT. Let's go ahead and use a vector 3 to have more specific control on the jump force with the y value of the vector 3 being up. And replace our current float variable. Let's see how it did that. Okay, so literally you just pass a vector 3. Why? I'm always so terrified of rotations because they never seem to do what I want that I assumed it would be more complicated than that. But okay. It's just literally passing the vector 3. It's probably because it's world position that we're thinking of right now, which in this case, I actually do think we want world position. So yeah, I'm cool with that. So on jump settings, that should be a vector 3, and we will call it jump force. Makes me think of that game Broforce. That was a fun game. Yeah, you don't exist anywhere yet, but you will. Cool. This is totally derailing us from our main goal right now, though, so I really gotta finish it. Okay, so now in this case, we are going to say 0.5, and then I'm curious what because I think I want to apply some like reverse, let's do global, some reverse force that pushes it back a little so it doesn't fly so far forward. Of course, that'll be all relative based on their speed, but this looks like it's moving across the z-axis, and as I go this way, it's negative. So I would want to apply a negative force on the z-axis, assuming that my theory is correct on how this works. So we'll just say like negative 0.2 or something. I think small values are good. I think 0.2 will pretty much stop it fully in its tracks. It's my hunch. So it'll be like a more or less straight up jump. And if that's the case, then we'll go to like 0.1. Nice. That actually worked pretty much exactly what I was hoping for. Let's do another jump so we can see that again. Dunk. Yep. Sweet. So yeah, that little negative force pushing it back from its momentum helps it have like a more fun, rewarding jump and less of a launch. So cool. That is now a thing. I'm going to apply those overrides. Hey, what's up, Marshall? Or I don't actually know if you're in the chat, Marshall, but thank you for subscribing. Cool. So that is now available for me and my level designer to use. The reason I got sidetracked on that was just because of the concept that there was this like idea of jumping onto the table and spilling a bunch of food. And I was like, we can't do that. We don't know how to jump. But no, we do. We now do. So we can use those. I need to go into our stream avatars and see if I can get the color swapping so we don't have all red raccoons. I like the global game jam icon. Okay, let's go back to our objectives. We may as well just make the washing machine one because I kind of like that one, and we need to start somewhere. So where was I liked how they organized it visually. Though I didn't like their, what is this? Did I type in? Oh, I totally typed in so I tried to keep my GPT section separate, but I accidentally combined the coding one into the game design one. Well, that's cool. They gave me a little table. Look at that. Except it's totally wrong. If it was 10, that thing would launch like way past the camera. But that is like, that's kind of helpful though. It's like, hey, that's forward. But anyway. Okay, here we are. This is the... Oh, some of these I didn't read. I didn't read the dump yet, but that's all right. We're on the house level right now, so we should stick with that. I think the biggest risk right now is getting too distracted and not getting these objectives done. So I'm going to go to my document, and because I like the format that it did, I'm going to put it like that, so it's pretty easy to read. Okay, so let's make a little washing machine that goes wacky when you throw a raccoon in it, because, you know, we all do that. Oh no, these are the same materials. So my boost is getting, my boost turned purple. So, oh well, that's fine. Like I said, worst thing we could do right now is be distracted. So let's make a washing machine. It will be a cube with a sphere on it, or a cylinder on it. Cube. I guess we need to make a laundry room if we're going to have a washing machine. This is a house because we say it's a house. And in this house, we have to decide where would a washing machine go? And where would we want access to be that was previously denied? I'm thinking we may want to let players enter from the other side of the map, potentially. I know this spot over here, this green objective was always a little tricky to hit. So I think we should make a little washroom extension out here, and then that way you have a more direct path. So let's do that. This level has actually been really interesting because it's been totally designed like by instinct. Like, that's not a good way to put it. It's been designed just like quickly, like, oh, this looks like a weird thing, let me just change it, and like it's worked surprisingly well. And like this is another example. I'm just like, I didn't really take the time to like plan out much, but it seems to work pretty well because there's a lot of just like wacky physics by bouncing around on these pegs. So I think it gives a lot of room for loose level design. So we'll say that red door is like the laundry room door. It's kind of big though, so I think I'll shrink it. We all have laundry rooms on the next to the fireplace, right? Where laundry rooms go. Come on. It's funny, this T key, I'm pretty sure is made in Unity for like UI, but I use it a ton for 3D objects because I can grab and scale by one side, because if I did the normal scale, it does both sides. So I really like, I don't know what version of Unity they added that, but ever since then I've used it a ton. Right, this washing machine is kind of massive. It's like as big as the room. I kind of imagine though, like the walls might actually be taller, but we just don't see them. Where should it go? It'd probably go near the back because we want it to break open an entrance in the back. I don't want to make it too small and like feel cramped. In fact, I'm going to make it kind of a little extremely big. I'm using my my game view as a reference, and like on the game view that doesn't look very big, so on here it looks a little big, but the game view is what the player sees. So all right, we do that and that, and then I think we'll pull this out a ways, something like that, and then we'll get rid of these pegs that are now inside of the washing machine or washroom, laundry room. I don't know if that's like a regional thing. I don't call things washrooms. I think that's like another name for a bathroom. But a washing machine, you would think would go in a washroom. The English language is odd. Okay, so let's give this a color of some kind that is not what it currently is. The one, well, that's a fun, weird, transparent. The one tricky thing Kind of, sort of. I don't know if I'd say assets because like I'm really like we're intentionally keeping the art separate. But I did add some more like features, some more functionality. So right now I'm making a washroom for functionality's sake. So this is my very fancy washing machine, and I'm making it because we're gonna have a raccoon run inside of it, and then it's gonna go all crazy and shake and eventually get dislodged, and we'll have something kind of break open here. So I'm gonna have to figure out how I want to do that. But excited about this little security camera feature added earlier today, and this elevator, which has some cool little walls that pop up and lock the player in while it's going up on its ride. And there's some cool stuff that got done today. Oh yeah, and then just earlier on the stream, I did the jump, wherever that is. Jump. So yeah, today was a really productive day. We'll see if it ends that way. Just because I think it's fun, we're going to put a cylinder so it looks more like a washing machine. Oh, but capsule, not a capsule. Let's put a cylinder. So I always do rotations is like I just start to manually spin it, and then I look at which axes is like being adjusted, and then I type in like the normal, the like rounded amount. I'm hoping pretty soon. So right now we have one artist helping me on this project, and they're working on just like level exploration. I can actually show you all how that's going. Where's my Slack? And then I guess I'll just download it and then pull it open. Don't open it Photoshop. No. Yeah. So right now, working on a dump level. So they are stealing from the dump. So yeah, we have an artist working on this because he has the bandwidth to help on it. Obviously, he's not doing art per se. It's just level design. It's still primitives and very simple objects. But I'm hoping pretty soon, maybe to get actual art going again. But it's just right now engineering is so far behind where art landed. So art kind of went almost like perfectly, and everything just like there's only a few slip ups, and then we're like, no, that looks really great. Let's do that. Engineering, I've gone through like a number of like, well, that wasn't fun. Let's scrap that. I've done that quite a few times on this. Getting close though. I think now we're on the right path. So I want to hear about your duck problem. Also ducks. I have we have little cameras at our place that constantly pick up wasps. Like their wasps always fly in front of it, and it like always alerts like, hey, there's activity on your security camera. And it happens so much that I've turned off my alerts, and so like I don't even, it's like a waste of even having it because I don't even watch the alerts. So please don't break into my house because I won't know. Unless you're a wasp, and then you've planned this all very well. Okay, let's work on our washing machine objective. Sweet. I think that reads as a washing machine. Oh wait, you know what? I don't know why. I'm totally enjoying making this look like a washing machine, even though it's a total non-important thing to do. It's gotta have this. Gotta have the control part on it. And I feel like it would be at an angle a little bit. There we go. Okay, so there's our washing machine. I think we would also have a dryer because I think the dryer is going to be blocking the entrance that we suddenly discover. But that will just be one more thing I have to animate. So maybe we'll keep it simple and just be conceptual. Be like, hey, just pretend like this makes sense. And when we go into production, if we like it, then we will do something better. I need to put these all into one object. Washing machine. And I think I'm a little worried about its size being small because it needs to open up something. So I think we'll exaggerate it and it'll be kind of cartoonish. And I think that's fine. If it's that big, I don't think the raccoons will fit through, because if we like sort of like have it shake and shift over. Let me see how big of a hole it could cover. Let's do that first. Do that. And then I really like vector snapping in Unity. I don't know if Unreal, I'm sure Unreal has something like it, but if you hold down V and you go to you hover your mouse over the corners, you can click and then it'll snap to the next vertex it finds. I use this super, super heavily when building levels. Yeah, I wonder if like Clean Raccoon gets extra powers. I was thinking earlier that maybe the raccoons can have states. Like the raccoon can be wet, and a wet raccoon somehow impacts the level differently, or it could be like a, I don't know, something like that. I'm just intimidated thinking about building levels based off of raccoon states. It sounds stressful. I'm powered by trash. They cannot have that. I can actually get a fairly big hole covered by the washing machine. Let's see if it shakes out of the way and there's just suddenly a random door behind the washing machine. It doesn't make any sense. And that bothers me. Let me see if a raccoon would fit through there. Maybe. I think it would be a little tight and it would be hard to aim that and it would get frustrating. I was thinking the dryer. Yeah. Okay. That might be, maybe we put both of them next to each other. We say it's a dryer vent, and combined, there will be enough space covered. All right. So washing machine and then dryer. And if like you're looking close, you might be able to see there's a gap there. Like when we're looking on the scene, like you can't really tell. That's fine. It's a hint. It's a hint. I mean, I could easily just put something there and then deactivate it once they open, but I mostly just want to make sure this concept works. So this would be the dryer. I feel like one should be top loaded so it's clear that they're different. I feel like washing machines are normally top loaded. The annoying part then is then we have to make well, we don't actually have to animate the raccoon. We could just make him disappear and use your imagination. So this will be the dryer and then this will be the washing machine. Let's make this not that color. What color are you? I just want this. Lit. You were lit color. Okay. Sure. Okay, so now we have these. I'll probably just make a trigger zone that is in front of both of them. And I don't know how much I'm going to like actually do for the animation for the prototype. It might just be, again, like conceptual. I think if I don't do enough though, I don't know if it'll be like a good enough test, because part of the fun is like seeing and like the fantasy of like, oh, he jumped in. Oh, that's so funny. If you're like, oh, he disappeared and now they're shaking, I don't get it. That kind of might not tell us the right story. So we'll see. I might have to animate them in. Okay, so now we have our objects. Half the battle. I'm going to rename these because it's going to bother me seeing these weird names. Washing machine cubes. Actually, washing machine parts. Saying it's dryer parts, but whatever. Actually, yeah, we should probably differentiate that. So if we do animate it, we know what we're moving around. Okay, we have named things. That is good. That is well and good. And now we need to figure out, so I guess it would be this objective. Ironically, the whole point of adding these was to get easier access to this objective, but that's okay. I'm starting to wonder if the objectives should be different from the interaction points, because like the main goal of the level is to check off your objectives. But then these, if you do all these things, you would want it to make it easier to get to the objectives. I almost think they should be a surprise. Like maybe I don't even like, I wonder if I even like call them out. Like you just stumble upon them. Like you happen to hit the washing machine and then you're like, you have that delight of like, oh, wow, that's cool that that happened. I also just realized that like it's impossible to get into this room basically. So that's a slight oversight. So we'll have to figure out like how we want to route people. Cool. All right. Well, because both of us think so, it is fact. We will go with you discover it and let people be excited. I'm into that. All right. So, but I'm going to put both these into a game object that holds all of them, and we will call this. We have to think of a new name for them now because they aren't objective events. These are just like. Yeah, what should we call these? World events? I don't. Level. Whatever. We'll call it world event until we can think of something better. World event. Washing machine ride. Okay. Then we'll put a separate object. And this object is going to be our trigger zone. I always like to start with an actual cube, so it's like very easy to resize it, and then later on I remove the mesh, or I disable the mesh depending on if I think I'll later want it. In this case, I'll probably just remove it. All right, make it nice and tall just to be safe. I don't want people somehow missing this. Actually, if they somehow jump over the wall, that would be weird that they could trigger it. So let's not go too crazy with the height. Hello. I'd like your excitement about Unity. Or maybe you just accidentally typed in caps. I also just realized as I restream, I don't know if everyone else can see every other chat from all the different platforms, but I can. Okay, let's see. I'm going to remove the mesh renderer. Okay. So now if they enter, now if they try to go from the back, I don't know how they'd hit there. Maybe like the pegs knock them around, which by the way, we should remove that one. And probably that one because you'll just get stuck. And maybe even that one. I don't know if they'll get stuck there. Let's delete it to be safe. Getting stuck is kind of annoying. But yeah, so if they're in the room, they will go through that trigger zone, which is now a trigger zone. Now we need some logic. And I'm trying to think if I want to reuse any of the existing logic that we have, or if we should make something new. Because we have a few things that trigger events to happen. So I have to think about the architecture here for a second. It's going to play an animation probably. That'll probably have to be an animation. I think it's going to be too many things moving. The one annoying thing about animations in Unity is like, think if it's not a child of the thing that the animator's on, you can't impact it. So you really have to put your animator on like the uppermost level. So I think I will have to put an animator on like the top of the environmental object, and then this script could just reference that animator and like call animations to play. I think that's how we want to do it. Also, my studio is now like 100 million degrees. I'm going to open the window again, cool it down. Be right back. This time I tried the strategy of only opening it a little so I don't have to go close it again in like 10 seconds. Okay, so let's just make a new script because this is going to be a little different because it's going to be talking to an animator, triggering animation events, spawning spawn points. That'll be another thing it needs to do. Activating spawn points. So yeah. Okay, so we need a new script. And we should put it where our other scripts are. We'll call this world event trigger. Oh no, I left out the D. Now I have to rename the script and the class. Wait for it to compile first. Let's just delete it. That's easier than rename it in two places. Unless we want whirl event, and that might be confusing. Okay, with the compile time, I take it back. I think it would have been faster to rename it in two places. All right, great. Type better. World event trigger. Wonder if we want a manager. Like, I wonder, because we might want both. I think we want the trigger either way. We may want a world event manager as well that holds all of the animations and things. Rosenvine, have you considered roguelike elements? Where the more you play, the more power-ups and stuff you can grab. Yeah, what I wanted to do, and I'm unsure if it's going to work, but I wanted something like, what's it called? Ultimate Chicken Horse, where like you have a round, or Fourscore, where you have a round where you like place objects around and then you go through the level. Since then, the design has evolved quite a bit, and so the flow doesn't seem as logical now to do that kind of thing. But I thought like it could be kind of roguelike, where the items you have access to place become different and have more complementary builds. Billionaire is another roguelike game. Chicken Horse isn't really roguelike as far as I know, but Billionaire is one where it's a Plinko board, and you get like different elements you can put in. Pretty good game. But yeah, I think I just have to figure out how to do that. From a design stance, we actually built a game, a roguelike, survivor-like, to be specific, game, pretty far to the point where it could probably be released for early access. It's multiplayer online survivor-like. So code-wise, I know how to do it. I'm just not sure exactly how it'll fit into the design, because there's just like, I don't know. It's not clicking in my brain quite yet, but I do want to do it. I do think that's a good element for replayability. Okay, we got our world something or other, world event trigger. Let's open that up and do things to it. Kind of like Risk of Rain, where your object pool expands over time. Yeah, I think right now there's just not a lot of items. I think maybe it's like more stuff because you get multi-ball, you get speed boost, and just made jump today. There's a slow, which is a negative thing, so I don't know why you'd ever want to necessarily use that. Maybe you want to slow yourself down in some areas. So maybe if there becomes like a ton of items, then maybe it would make sense to drop those down. Yeah. I'd have to play. I played Risk of Rain a long time ago. I don't remember it super well. And I'm hoping in the next. I don't know if it'll be this month, but probably next month. Maybe letting people play this externally and get some feedback. So that'll be good. I think there'll be a lot of ideas that come out of that as well. Okay, world event trigger. It needs to on trigger enter, do some stuff, and I'm just gonna steal from our multi-ball. Okay, I just want to make sure the tag is right. I don't love that I'm using a string as the check, but that goes on. Okay, so we are trying to think of what we want to trigger here, because I mean, what we could do is like all we need to really do is just talk to the manager and say play an animation. I think that's all we really needed to do. So it's kind of silly, but we'll come back to that once we have a manager, which we'll make right now. And the manager will hold animations, and we'll just be telling it which animation to play. It sounds like kind of overly simplistic, but I think it might work. World event manager. All right, so the world event manager. That exists. Let's go to our world event trigger. All right, so from our trigger, we can now have a reference to the manager. I think in this one, we'll just use it, grab it on start, because we should never immediately hit a trigger. So we don't have to worry about triggering before it finds this. Equals, and like, sure, I could just assign it an inspector, but then what if I like forget to, then there's a null ref, and like, it's just kind of annoying. Sometimes it's like just a nice to have to like not have to worry about it. You pay a little bit in performance, but doesn't matter at this stage of the game. Find any object of type. Guess that's fine. Yeah, there's only one, so sure. Do that. Okay, and then we would want a public variable. And I think we'll use numbers, public variable. I wrote out variable, it's hilarious. Public int, we'll call this world event ID. And we'll pass that on to world event manager, and that's how it will know which one to play. We could make an enum of each world event, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe we should do that actually. Say world event. Because eventually this game would have like a ton of levels, but I mean, for our prototype, we'll probably have like 1 to 3. So I think I can just make it a single. If I wanted more, I could do like world event house. Maybe I'll do that just for the sake of world events. Let's do plural. And let's say this is going to be washing machine. And I don't know what other ones we'll have yet. Car wreck. We keep talking about the idea of like you run in the road and then like this car swerves and like crashes through the front of the house and like makes a new opening. I think that'd be fun. So we'll say those two. And actually, depending on where we put our road, that could be how we gain access to the washing machine room. I'm kind of excited to like put maybe a lot of these in the level and have people discover them, and it just being like this like Easter egg hunt almost, like, ooh, what else? What happens if I hit this? Ooh, maybe if I hit this in this certain way. Especially if it gets really deep to where there's like a interesting order. Like if you do it in a certain order, a different thing happens, and it could be like a lot of replayability just to like see what happens in the level. That could be kind of fun. Okay, so for now we just have 2. That's fine. And then this one, instead of an int, now we're going to call this a world event house. Then we'll call it event house event. Okay. What's your deal, man? Why don't you want to call that? Oh, is it not public? Now it is. Okay, cool. So now I can figure out, set that to there. And then we want a method here. I'm curious if there's like a formal, I didn't take a, I never got like a computer science degree. I'm self-taught, but I wonder if there's I always wondered if there's a difference between method and function. It's like a method just doesn't have any arguments and a function does. I don't know. I mostly use the word function, but now and again I say method. Public. We should make this a start world event, and we will pass in world events house. So I just found a flaw in my architecture here, is that if we have a dump level, then we're gonna have to have a separate class called world event dump, and we'll start world event this and world event. So I actually already changed my mind, and I don't want to say house because I think that's just gonna be annoying. The method is attached to an object. Interesting. So if I had like a static class with just functions, that they wouldn't be methods. It has to be on an object. So technically a method is a function. I see. Okay. Interesting. So right now I am writing methods because these are going to be on an object. All right. So why is it angry about this? A method uses must have a return type. Oh, because I didn't. Yeah, duh. This is just void. We do not need it to have a return type. Okay, so now let's go back to our trigger, and this should just be world events. And then we'll call this event type. Okay, now we will just say world event manager dot start world event type. I think this script is done. Like this script really just exists to send an event is really what all it's doing. So it sends an event to, I mean, technically it's not an event, but it sends a message to this manager. Now this manager will do something with it. So probably a switch case. It's going to be kind of eventually a long switch case, which I don't love. event. So maybe in the future we will break these up or find a different way to architect this. Probably a scriptable object is probably the way we would do this instead of using them all listed out here. Why are you not giving me all my cases? Thank you. Does that, the word washing looks totally wrong right now to me. Washing. Yeah, I guess that's how you spell it. Okay, so the washing machine, we are going to queue an animation event. And so I think we'll also have a public. Oops, I don't want it up there. I want it in the class. Animation. Now I'm trying to think here if we want to do an animator with a lot of different states. I don't think so, because animators are good for like controlling an object in different states. I think we just want to play more regular Unity animations, which are more legacy. That's the only thing that's tripping me up a little bit. But because we're moving a bunch of just like random objects and not like a single entity animation. And I guess this should be a list of animations. Yeah, I might need to do one as a test because we might need to switch this to an animator. Yeah, I'm going to do an animator just because I've had in the past where like basically Unity like yells at me because it's like deprecated. I think like they're trying to move away from the old animation system. So animator, and then we're gonna have a bunch of states. Public animation, animator. Is this? Get out of here with that. What am I doing wrong here? Hold on. Oh, yeah, the right namespace in there. I don't know, like it's dropping that one there and it's not helpful. I need system generic collection. Okay, so now we have animator states. There'll be a list. It's going to be a bunch of strains, but I think that will just have to do. And then, actually, in that case, I don't know if we even want to bother with it being an inspector. I think we could just say animator play. I think you could pass argument of like, yeah, state name. I think you can pass just like by string. Yeah, so it could be like washing machine. I think it's 0 as a default. It forces you to put a layer number, I think. No, okay, perfect. So yeah, the risk here, of course, is if we mistype our state name, it will not work. But since we're only going to have a few of these for the prototype, I think this is fine. And then for here, we would have something called car wreck. Yeah. It's deceptively simple looking. So let's go ahead and set up the animator. We want to put it high in the hierarchy because we want it to be able to access all of its children. All of its children. Okay, OG level, add animator. And then let's also make sure actually everything is inside of this because all these new objects I've been just like dropping Yeah, jump is not in there. Washing machine is not in there. So let's put these both at the OG level. Cool. Okay, so now the OG level has its animator on it. We need to make a new animator controller. Let's just drop one of these so I can figure out where these are at. Oh, it's in a random spot. Let's find a new spot for you to be in. Animation. We'll call this OG House Animator. I said OD House, Overdose House. No, OG House. Okay, and then the OG gets its animator, and then we would just make a couple animator states, and we would, we'll make that just be default. And we will call this one washing machine. And then we will create another one called car wreck. And then in here, we then of course need to make animations. So let's open up an animation tab. And we can start playing. So let's lock. It's not letting me lock yet, which is odd. Oh, because I don't have a clip yet. Duh. I was like, why is it not working? Let's make a new folder. So it's OG House Animations. And then we'll call this washing machine. Cool. Okay, so now I like to lock this in so it doesn't go away. And then I'm going to click into our washing machine and make some keyframes. So we will just kind of want this thing to go kind of bonkers. I have no sense of if this is fast or slow. We've been able to spread that out. It could be a little smaller. Okay, and then do another move. We'll just kind of like keep moving it and rotating it until it's kind of away from. I guess it should kind of push the other one out of the way, right? So like maybe they both get shoved into the corner. I like that idea. And now it's there. And then now I have to click on the other one, the dryer. Now you need to get hit and get bumped over a little. And then just kind of like eke these over little by little. Thankfully, this doesn't have to look like super polished. But as long as they communicate like, hey, they're knocking around, how does it feel? These are way too close. Kind of knocks that, it moves. And then maybe just move them both a little. Actually, no, I don't like the way that looks. When they're sticking perfectly together, it looks kind of weird. Actually not looking bad when I'm looking at the game view on top. To look at reviews of my games, we No, I guess the short answer is no. I have a number of like mobile games that I've released over the years, and I never ever look at them. Mostly because like I made them kind of just for me, uh, and never really intended to like make money on them. Never felt like they were great works of creative art. So no. With that said, I haven't. We're going to be releasing a VR game here in the next couple weeks. It's been one I've like been dabbling on for a number of years, and the team at Dev House has been helping with it as well for the last couple of years. Super off and on. Like we'll spend like 2 or 3 months on it, then we'll like pause it for 7 months. But yeah, we're releasing that. So like a math-based VR game. So you're like shooting, like you get the question and then you have to like find the answer somewhere in the level and shoot it. And so that one I'll probably keep an eye on because that one actually I do hope people play and enjoy. Okay, almost far enough over. Okay, just probably don't want to make it go into the ground. That would be a little weird. Just trying to get it all the way away from the opening. Okay. I think that works. Let me show you on the... It happens a little fast, but we can slow that down too. We can just spread out the keyframes. Yeah, I mean, for how fast that was to make, I think it totally works. I like it going long enough that you can like appreciate that something's happening. And I think I'll also do like the whole camera will shake, which the camera, by the way, I don't think is in the level. So I would have to change that. Okay, so the other thing that kind of would like to, well, actually, hold on. First, let's save this. Let's make sure that this animation is in the animator. All right, so it looks like it is. Yeah, okay, perfect. So then this should play if we enter that spot. I guess we can do a quick test. I can try, it's not a very good spot in the level to test, unfortunately. Maybe I'll just drag it out. Or maybe I'll drag a player into there. That might be safer. Just see if it actually works. The part I'm thinking of now is like, how do I want to communicate that the raccoon went inside of the washing machine? I would like to make it kind of jump in, but we don't know exactly where it enters the trigger zone. And so we'd have to do some coding work to properly do that. Not impossible though, just a little bit of a hassle. Let's drag our friend here. Reveal. Will you please reveal? Okay. So I'm sliding through. We're not seeing anything. Let's pause. I'm not actually seeing any errors. So let's see. I wonder why. Let's try again. Yeah, I'm entering this trigger zone, or I should be anyway. Let's see why it's not getting done. Yeah, I'm in the trigger zone. Oh, we don't have the script on there. That would do it. Just so I don't have to restart. Let me just add it at runtime just to test. Actually, yeah, let's just put it on there. Trigger zone, you need world event trigger. and your washing machine type, not car wreck type. Hit play. But then for a trash heist, I definitely will be looking at reviews for sure. There's always the risk that it's like you get bad reviews, and that would be kind of a bummer. But I mean, I think you just have to know what you intended, and if they didn't like what you intended, then fine. And then if they didn't like something that you didn't intend, then maybe that's good feedback, and you could do something about it. All right, I feel like I entered the trigger zone. Okay, cool. I got a null ref, which is always the easiest kind of bugs to solve most of the time. So for whatever reason, World Event Manager was not found. I probably didn't put World Event Manager on. That's fun. Fun stuff. Let's put that in. Let's just put that right next to the... Actually, we should only have one World Event Manager, I think. Yeah, so that should go in logic. So create empty world event. And also, I'm just going to turn off Fog of War for now so we can see what we're doing here. All right. You are coming with me, sir. Not. But... Ooh, where did I send him? He's got sent off the map. Okay, I went in the trigger zone. Still saying there was no reference. But we should have... Oh my gosh, guys. I'm so dumb. Once again, I made the game object, but did not attach a script to it. And then the animator... Okay. This won't scale perfectly because as we have other levels... there's just one animator, so we'd have to add more, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. All right. Okay, here we go. Enter the zone. Nice. Oh, it's on looping. Okay, that's a good discovery. We do not want it to loop. Okay, shoe. And we probably also want it to freeze. Freeze the player as well. Let's do one thing at a time. What time is it? It feels... Oh, it's only 9:30. Oh my gosh, I'm starting to get tired. Washing machine. Oh, you're not seeing where I'm clicking. It is on loop time, so we'll uncheck that. And then when this completes, we will go... It doesn't have to go back to default state, but I'll just send it back there anyway. Actually, no, let's keep this clean. Let's make sure this works, but that checking the loop time should return it back to just plain once. Drag our raccoon over. And he enters. Sweet. And then now there is a door he can go through. Woo! I hope that his height... No, his height should be fine. Cool. So now we need to stop the raccoon. And then we need to put it somewhere. I'm trying to think of something more universal. We don't want to control it through the animator probably, because the raccoon doesn't spawn into the level. So actually we don't have access to it. And it won't have access to it in the animator itself because it wouldn't exist yet. because it spawned in at runtime. So we would need to programmatically do something with the raccoon itself. I would like to be able to send it somewhere. So I think what we should do is maybe have it pick a destination, and then we just lerp to that destination, and it's just a vector 3. For this one, I would like it to kind of make a jumping motion. So I don't know. We'll see about that. We'll see. Maybe it's not necessary. Maybe like it'll look cool the way just going straight to it. So let's go back to our code. We played this animator, and let's make a function move raccoon to actually we also pass the game object raccoon who triggered. We might be able to just do it in a more simple way. This would be this does mean that the multi-balls wouldn't work because that is a different script. So I might consider that. Raccoon who triggered get component. I think we have move. We don't have an exposed move function. I thought I did. Move player to new node. That's not what I want. Let's go into here and see what we got. We have launch player, raccoon physics, change skill, move to new spawn point, move player to new node. But actually it's just passing a transition or transform, I mean. So I won't have a transform though. So I think we might just have to get the rigid body. Is that public? But I also want to freeze it. Do I have like a... Don't need to update its gravity. See if I have anything exposed that like halts the player in position. Because I've wrote it a couple times. Yeah, like here, this totally freezes player. Maybe I should make that a function. Private void freeze player in place. And then we can throw all this here. Okay, so now I could, so if this is public, I can just call that from here. And so now what will happen is when they're finished, well, not even when they're finished, it'll happen immediately. Like it'll call the animator and then it'll immediately freeze them in place. And then we want to say like move to location, right? So let's say stop raccoon, it's movement, and then move raccoon to desired position. So now this desired position is going to be tricky. I think we need to pass in where we want to send it from the trigger. So transform, not transform. We'll do vector 3 raccoon destination position. And let's, instead of doing just dot position, let's do let's lerp that using dg.tweening So we'll do transform dot do move, and we want to raccoon destination position. We should make it take, I don't know, half a second. And yeah. 1 second, I'm gonna close my window. It's too cold. Okay, so now we'd be able to move to position. Now we do have to go into our what's it called? The trigger, world event trigger, and like pass all the things we need to pass. So the other dot hit dot game object, and then we need to pass the destination. So I guess that'd be an exposed variable here. Destination position for entering. That's a long variable name. We'll just say destination position. Okay. All right. So then we'll be able to send the raccoon. Now they won't arch or do anything interesting like that, but it's okay. We'll see how it looks. We can do something though, like do dot set. What is it? So set ID. I'm trying to think. It's like the curve type. What do they call that? Ease. The easing. We can set the easing. Now I can never remember different easing types, so I always do this cool website called like easing cheat sheet. And what's really nice about this is as you hover over them, the little ball on the side animates. And so I think I like that ease and out elastic. It'll look like he kind of like prepares to jump and then leaps in. And I think that might be neat for most of the things. All right, we'll try it. So ease and out elastic. Cool. It's only half a second, so it's going to go pretty quick. It does mean we probably just need to start our animation actually over. So let's also edit that. Let's have it not start right away. Let's have it wait about half a second. So I just slid all the keyframes over and I copied and pasted this first frame. I could totally have like little sudsy particle effects come out and stuff, but all right, so let's see how that goes. We need to set the values, of course, in our object. We don't want to make the same mistake we made the first time. Okay, trigger zone. All right, so we need to set the destination position. So for that, I'm going to drop a game object in world space because this is going to be world space, so it has no parents. And I want it to go, I want the raccoon to end up like kind of in the middle of the washing machine, but I think I might set it more towards the top. So to round that, could we just say 64? And could we say just 13? I like round numbers. It doesn't look like it. Maybe 14. Yeah, 14 will work. And then 10. Okay, so negative 14, 10, 64. Negative 14, 10, 64. That's what we need. Negative 14, 10, 64. Negative 14, 10, 64. Okay, now we can go ahead and delete that random cube. We just used it to get our world positions. And then let's try things out. This again would be a lot easier if I could launch the raccoon in there because I'm going to be moving it physically. So I don't know how well it's going to take to me kind of grabbing onto it. Okay, I'm going to do it. Here's a way we can do a test. We'll just open this wall here. And then we'll put another spawn point. Or we'll just take number 4. We don't necessarily need 4 to be there. Well, actually, I don't want to do that because I don't want to change its trajectory. But spawn point 1 is already pointing the way we want it to go. So we'll put that there, and then we'll rename it to spawn point. I think we're at 7 or something, 6. Yeah, this is number 7. So we just kind of change a couple values so it'll actually let me go there. So 7, it's unlocked. Number sprite, might will change to 7 so it looks good. And let's roll. Okay, so we should be able to jump to 7 and hopefully we'll see everything happen. Okay, here we go. The camera's at a weird angle, but it kind of almost worked. Okay, so the moment the player gets in there, they need to probably be destroyed, I think. I'm thinking of other cases. Like in this case, I think that would make total sense. In other cases, maybe less sense. But let's, yeah, and I do think I need to shrink them as well and extend the time it takes for them to move in. That was a little fast. All right, so I changed it to 1 instead of 0.5. We need to add in a shrink. So I would say dot. Let's make a new function. Private void shrink and destroy. Actually, I think we could do the shrink at the same time. Again, this is not, wouldn't make a lot of sense. Like if you go in the road, right, and like scare a car away, I don't think we'd want them to shrink. We'd want them to just run off screen. So I'm trying to think of how maybe specifically on this one, I guess we can make a custom shrink there. So we'll say shrink and destroy. And we'll set a delay to this. So this should actually be a numerator. Yield new wait for seconds delay. Sorry, it's wait for seconds. New wait for seconds. Yeah, weird. Maybe I had a typo. Okay, so we will do that, and then we will basically do this, but instead of do move, we'll do like do scale. Do scale to local scale. Yeah, I think it's just do scale. Okay, and then for do scale, we want it to end at vector 3, 0. It should take, I guess that should be a thing that we decide as well. Duration. And that's it. And then we would do on complete. And then this would be object to destroy. I always think that that's like a function inside of game object, but then I always have to rewrite it. Okay, so then the only other thing we have to do is call this on here. We need to pass in the delay. I don't think we need much of a delay. It takes 1 second to move into position, and in that time, we pretty much need to be fully shrunken. So depending on the duration of the shrink, so if we just say wait 0.25 seconds to start shrinking, and then take 0.75 seconds to finish your shrinking, collectively it's 1 second. So by the time it reaches the end of its position, it will be destroyed. In fact, let's do 0.85, just so that way there's a little bit of overlap to where it should fully arrive and then it'll finish destroying. So we don't have this trying to send positions while it's still being controlled. And then what else do you need? You need the duration. Oh, okay, that should have been the second one. Should have been the game object. Raccoon, who triggered. Okay. Oh, but this needs to be a coroutine. Start coroutine. Sweet. I still think the word washing looks wrong. All right, let's try to launch again. And let's see if this time it will destroy itself. Oh, I think I do need to move it more down to the center to, where is our target? Let's just click. So instead of Y10, I think maybe I'll do Y9. Maybe 9.5. All right, let's try that. Interesting. The position seemed wrong. Everything else seemed to look pretty good though. Let's re-add our little game object that's going to be just our default position getter. Let's figure out maybe why that position didn't seem right. So I mean 9.5 is right there, which is pretty darn close to middle. I mean we could go down to 9. Maybe I need to worry about the easing. Maybe the easing is making it look off. These other values though, negative 13.5, 64 even. Those, oh, we could go a little deeper in. So we probably need 64.5 is probably where we need to be. I could totally just have an object here that's like the destination and not have to type it in. That might be easier. Okay, 13.5, 9, and 64.5. $13.5, 9. I think it was 64 even. 64.5. Okay, we'll do that, and then maybe we don't want the on the easing. Maybe we don't want the like bounce on the arrival. Maybe we just want ease in elastic. There we overshoot it. Just kind of wanted like some. I mean, I guess ease and bounce could be okay. Let's try ease and bounce. All right, let's see here. It's almost like the two tweens are kind of fighting each other. I think like the scale and the movement aren't working out so well. So maybe for now, I might just try as an experiment to just say on complete, we will destroy the raccoon. And then we won't actually do that coroutine at all. Just want to see if that fixes the problem. Yeah, we're doing on complete destroy, and we're just doing the move, and we don't do the shrink. I think the scaling might have been throwing off our positional information. Yeah, that worked. Okay. Cool. The only issue is that I think it happened the washing machine shook too fast. So I think we need to mix maybe traveling to that point faster, and or waiting longer for the event. Let's just try waiting longer for the event. I just kind of arbitrarily slid it over. I think we should see the raccoon hit, wait a beat, and then we see them shaking around. And I do think the whole camera needs to shake. I think that's really going to help. Hopefully it doesn't distract though. Like you don't even notice the washing machine because the whole camera is shaking. Nope. Yeah. I think we could even wait a tiny bit longer. Like, maybe here. And then, yeah, if I want to do camera, I don't think it'll let me get camera, but let's just try it. Yeah, it doesn't let me do it, but I think I might be able to do camera shake from the script. Let's try that. I don't know. Camera dot main dot do shake. Nice. Do shake position. Duration. Maybe like 2 seconds. It's whatever the length of the animation is. I mean, ideally I would do animator clip length or something. Oh, actually, I am doing that somewhere else. I'm getting the length of. Oh no, it's the length of an audio file. Whatever. We'll just say 2 seconds. And then delay. We do need a delay. And we'll say like. Maybe like 1 second. I guess it has to be set delay. Complete. Needs to move back to its original position for sure. Oh, sorry, I don't have my script open. Okay, so yeah, sometimes with the do tween, you'll find it doesn't end up where it was originally, which is problematic. So when it completes, it should set it right back to its normal position. And the shrink and destroy was causing problems, so we're just going to get rid of it entirely. All right, now I'm pretty certain I didn't guess right on the shake durations and stuff. So we'll just see how it feels and tweak it from there. You know, it felt kind of timed okay. It felt maybe a little intense though. Maybe strength could be like 1. Vibrato could be like 5. Something like that. Oops. Felt like maybe the length of it wasn't long enough though. I don't know if I like it though. I think it might be just kind of much. Let's see. Let's watch again. Okay, it starts too early. That's for sure. So set delay. Let's set it to 2 or 1.5 maybe. That might be better. I think it still feels a little soon. We'll try 2. Our strength is 1. Vibrato is 5. I don't really know what randomness is. Let's set the vibrato down to 3. I think it just feels a little. Or maybe the vibrato should stay high. Like maybe it's like more of a quick back and forth. Let's actually keep the vibrato high, but like keep the strength low. My hope is that it's not going far, but just like little vibrations. I found like the do shake default stuff isn't great. sometimes it's better just like to do move and then on complete, call it again and like loop through that. But it's tedious to set that all up. All right, let's watch the timing. I think it's like we're really getting close. Like 1.75 maybe. It's still, it seemed like it took a little too long. Maybe the strength is 0.5. Okay. I think I think maybe 1.5 was probably the right amount. I know it's like tiny finessing things, but I think it can make a really big difference to how it feels. But after this change, unless like something went really, really wrong, I would say now we need to initialize a spawn point. I think that would be the next big thing. Okay, do we hit play already? No, let's hit play. Ooh. There we go. I like that. I think that feels good. Okay, so then now we would want to put in a new spawn point, and we'll just do it as part of the animation. We'll just keep it real simple. Where are the spawn points? Oh, unless the spawns are not part of the... Well, I guess even if they aren't a part of the current level, I can just put this particular one as part of the current level because it doesn't actually need to be anywhere particular. And I think in the future, all the levels should contain their own spawns anyway. Where is our environment level? OG level, okay. So we'll call this one spawn point 8. And we will make it locked at first. Set this to 8. And we're going to want it to be here. Because the idea is then we can launch in to the house from this direction. And then we are going to need to change its gravity to be the opposite of this. What is this one? This one is at 0.2 on the Z, so this should just be negative 0.2 on the Z. Cool. Let me leave it unlocked for now, just to make sure that the gravity is correct. I can do a quick test. I must have done something wrong. It won't let me move to it. Let's see. You are spawn 8. You are unlocked. Also, that should be 0. Why aren't you working? Huh. I don't know why it's not letting me go to spawn point 8. Maybe there is something weird about being a child of the other spawn points. Let's double check that. Yeah, there's nothing on the parent. I don't see why it would not be working. Let me move. Oops. I can move it to the other one and just see. Oh, that's also weird. Spawn point 8. Oh, I moved the wrong thing. Okay, let's undo a whole bunch. Okay, I need to move its parent somewhere else. So I was moving to 8, but I couldn't tell I was moving to 8 because it was set the wrong way. Or it was like the children removed, but not the game object. At least that's what it seems to have been. Okay, spawn logic 8. I think we said this should be negative 0.2. It should be unlocked, and then let's delete these pegs. There's like 2 pegs for every single one of these. Yeah, there's like 2 in every single one. Nope, I just deleted something. There we go. Okay. I don't especially love these being tightly coupled. Okay. We lose some pegs there, but whatever. Okay, let's see if that fixed it. Sweet. Okay, so if I launch, sweet. Gravity went the right way. I did hit the edge, so I need to scoot the 8 over. There. Which means I could probably do that. Okay. So now the other part of that is like that 8 probably should be 2 things. One, it should be disabled, set to locked. And then the other is it should probably just be off. Like, would we just... And I'm wondering if we even had to worry about the locking part of it. Okay, and then in our animation, we want to add property. And we'll say, so you have to find it in here. Okay, let's... So it's just spawn point 8. But I wonder if because if it's disabled, it won't look in here. Sprinkler, sprinkler, second floor, objectives. Yeah, it's not seeing it. I'm curious if I turn this on, if it will suddenly see it. Okay, it does. Now what happens? So it is active. And then we want to do, now if I turn it off, is that going to freak it out? No. Okay, so it would turn on at the beginning. And then I guess we would, default, we would have it turned off. But anyway, okay, so it's on at the beginning. That's actually not where I don't feel like we want it on the first frame. I think we'd want it on at like the very end. Like after it has been there a while. I also think I would want to take the scale of it and like scale it up. Yeah, so the number sprite, I think I want to take the transform and mess with the scale. And so I think at the beginning, we would want the scale to be, I guess I could have just clicked in on it. That would have been easier. I wish it would scale by the center. Nice. That was easier than I thought it would be. Okay, so we want it to start. It's going to be inactive anyway at the beginning. I should figure out what scale it is. Okay, it's at 8. Weird. It's number 8 at 8 scale. So we have really, really small. And then you should still be really, really small. Why are you being weird? Why is it moving? I don't want to move it. Position. No, thank you. Maybe that's because of the me wanting to pivot by the center, but that's fine. We can live without that. So I guess we would then turn it on here. So here at the very beginning, it should be off. And then we also want to set it to be enabled. Cool. And then now we can access that. So let's try this out. I do think I might need to do a default animation. Otherwise, every single time I'm going to have to turn these off, I think. Or scroll to the right animation spot. All right, let's put our person at 7. Now you can see I can't go past. It's a little hard to see because that wall's blocking, but I can't go past 7. Now if I launch, go into there, things shake, 8 pops up. And now I can go to 8. It seemed like it let me go from, I don't know, that's kind of a weird thing. Oh, darn it, I still missed. Oh, okay. That's good to know. The trigger zone is still on. So once we get to there, we need to turn that trigger zone off. That was a good discovery. Which should be here. Record. And you should just go off. then here you should be on. And you finish, you go. I mean, I guess really like right after we hit it, we may as well just turn it off. So that way we don't like re-trigger it multiple times in a row. In case there's like another character right there or something. In fact, I don't even see a reason. Well, whatever, that's fine. Simply. There is some value of like however you want the starting state to be also the first frame, because you can scroll left and set everything to like the normal state of the game. All right, so right arrow sends me through an order. I'm going to go to the washing machine, jump in. Cool, 8 pops up. Now right arrows where I thought something weird happened. Yeah, I go to 8. That's so weird. It loops around in the wrong order, but it's not a huge deal because the that's not how we launch players otherwise anyway. Or not how we put players in position, so I meant to say. Sweet. Okay. We do need to move this number 8 though. Where are you, 8? I will have to do a little like level design pass because right now the objective, there's no point in doing it. So I think that will take away some of the fun of succeeding in it. Sweet. Ideally, I think we should offset the player maybe a little because like I guess it's nice you don't block the numbers, but it is a little annoying that I can't line those arrows up perfectly. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I mean, just really quick, we know already that this needs to be more like that, and then this could be like that, so it's a bigger door. And we could put something in the way, so it's like very unlikely you would ever be able to hit that wall from that direction. So like this kind of knocks you away from it. So that way you can't like say, well, I never actually need to hit that thing. So now from this direction, it's very unlikely you would hit that. It's still possible. And then from the other direction, I suppose you could, but we could maybe fix that by extending this out a little bit. So if you're coming down this hall, you go that way. So really the only way to get that green effectively, in fact, we can keep making this even more of a case to just go here. It's like to go, you kind of need to go right here. Well, actually there feels a little better. Problem is you're going to come in on this upper area here. So really like this has to almost be like that. Which means maybe this is like a weird diagonal wall here. We don't really care about that 5. That was just put there as a placeholder. Yeah, maybe their house has like this weird entry hallway thing there. So then maybe this is a room of some kind. If it's wall connecting like that. Cool, 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 cool. This 5 shouldn't really be there. We could just put this here. Maybe this is like a an unlockable that you get later. You want to try to go in that way. I mean, I don't know if you ever would want to go in at that angle. Yeah, it's something. It's something. It's an option. And then really we want to close this off now. We do. Oh, hold on. We actually need to figure out how we're going to get to this thing. So you can launch, say one is a little bit more over here. You can diagonally launch and go into these areas. How would you ever get into this room? Because that would make a lot of sense. But there almost needs to be a door here. Or a door here and you get through the house and you kind of like get in through a back door. Let's do, yellow's supposed to represent windows, and it makes more sense that this would be a window and not a door. Let's put that there. 7 really probably should not exist, but just so we don't have to delete things and mess up the order, let's just put it there. In fact, I think it would be more helpful to be a little bit over, because you're so close to that wall that it's like hard to go diagonal. So if you want to go diagonal, that's like a good one to go for. Okay. So now there's an idea. I don't know if I like 5 there. I kind of want to move 5 somewhere else. Yeah, I think I will. It's just part of the value of it though is that it has the correct angle set to it. So if I ever want to make one at that angle, I already know which one. So I could put it here and you could have to unlock it later. But 7's already unlocked. Yeah, let's just rotate it. Okay, but now we need to make sure the settings are not that. So your settings should be 00.2. Okay. Sweet. It's not perfectly aligned with anything, so maybe we shift it to that red door a little bit. And then 6 could be, well, I think, yeah, the sprinkler's gonna be right in your way. That's gonna be a really like annoying one to pick. So maybe do something like that. Then this jump doesn't make any sense being here. Trying to think of what could we want to jump in here that would be interesting to jump. It's not much. The level's kind of small. We could try jumping over. Yeah, there really isn't much. I guess that's the thing, is like maybe we can clear that wall. Possibly with the jump. We'll put it there. Why not? At least it's in a place that potentially could make more sense. And then what I think I'd want to do is like take the second floor and like, if you're not actively on it, I think I would like to set its transparency to low. So that will take a little bit of finessing. I think I need a new material. Call this second floor. Okay, so yeah, all of these guys. And then we would just go in here and see if it'll let us do a lower transparency. Yeah, something like that. And then I guess if a raccoon is up there, we would just have to write some logic to make it turn solid. Maybe we like on elevator activation or something, or maybe there's just like a elevator activation would kind of make sense that like as the elevator is going up, we increase that transparency. Actually might be fun to do real quick. So let's see. So that would be like on the elevator script. So we can just, in the elevator settings, we can also have a public material, second floor material. And we could say if we trigger the elevator movement, we would, yeah, if they enter, we would say elevator second floor material dot, we just like color dot trans dot alpha do fade. Okay. Well, I don't know if it's like a 0 to 1 scale. We're gonna assume it is. It looks like we wait. Try to figure out the duration. So it looks like it takes 0.25. Is that right? Duration 0.25. Oh, that's the walls. The actual thing itself, it's not a specific speed because it's just, we don't know when it finishes. But it's on complete. Because I'd love for it to take the exact amount of time for the elevator. Now I have to be careful because I can't actually fade it out here because that means it'll fade out while the person's still on the second floor. Okay, so do fade. We'll just say it takes 2. Delay. We'll do 1 second delay. Maybe 2 seconds. And I think I will do it down here. By the time it gets to the bottom, on complete. I think by the time it gets to the bottom, if we put a big enough delay, this will feel like it just kind of fades out after a while. So this delay, we're going to wait like 3 seconds. And we're going to like fade out over like 4 seconds. So it's like a lot longer to fade out. I'm going to have to just like, I'm going to move the 6th spawn point over. It'll be easier to see. We do need to assign the elevator material, or the second floor material, though. Okay, then take this guy. Okay. Ooh, I think I can get. Darn it. Okay, can't get through that wall. Let's move the 6 position a little differently. Okay. Should start fading in. Nice. Now it might start fading out pretty soon. Oh, that's plenty of time. I think it faded in a little too soon, if anything, because we really want it to start at the top. And so I think we're gonna make that delay at least another second. Okay, let's see if this feels good. Yeah, that felt nice. I think he's facing straight up. I don't know. He's launching the right way, so I'm not going to worry about it. It was interesting, though. I did hit that. So if I was red, I would have been able to open up that path. So that's actually pretty cool. In fact, I'm going to try that next turn. So if I'm red, and I take the elevator. Let's see if I'll open that door up and trigger the event, which would be pretty cool. Nice. Okay. There was one weird thing, but first I just want to test. Yay, I can spawn there now. And then if I launch, I can say, yeah. That's cool. Okay. It was weird that it didn't take the raccoon in, but it still triggered the event. That was kind of odd. I see. I think what happened is one of the other raccoons, one of the multi-ball raccoons hit it, is what I was mentioning before. So I think we should write the check for that. If raccoon who triggered get component it's not equal null. Do that. Else. You know what I probably should just do is like keep it. Well, actually, no. What does this do? I should probably just do this. Oh, sorry. Forgot to click into my script. Constant force. Now, of course, there's the risk that they won't have this, but because there's a player filter before this is called, they should all have a constant force. They should all have a rigid body as well. Okay. Uh, so I think that should allow us to resolve that. I don't know if we'll be able to know for sure if it worked, because we would have to have a multi-ball raccoon be the one that hits that trigger first, but we will find out. Okay. Let's launch. Here we go. Moment of truth. And a multi-ball open the door and went in the trigger zone and went in the washing machine. Amazing. Amazing. It worked. That feels so good. That was cool. I think that was fun. I think there's gonna have to be a lot of them. And I wonder if we even need ones that will like, because eventually the map is going to become so easy because you can just go everywhere and anywhere. So I'm a little torn between, like, we need a lot of them, but we also need to make sure that there's like some degree of challenge and interest. I had thought about maybe making like a human player. There's the camera freezing the raccoon, and then the raccoon retreats. I should have them face the way they're retreating too. That's okay. That's a tassel right now. Sweet. Well, I'm pretty darn happy with the progress today. I think let me get this back into a normal place. I think my favorite part of how that all came together was when I realized that just by chance that the path that second floor led to opened that door to the washing machine, and then like I was able to trigger 2 animations with a single turn, and I think it was just fun to be able to like impact the world so much with like a single turn. And with that said, though, one of my worries is that, like, okay, I did it. I know the washing machine will move. Okay, now what? And so I feel like there has to be a lot more. So then the next turn, there's something exciting to do. And the next turn, there's something exciting to do. So there might be a lot of level design in this. Ideally, we want to create something that can be a little bit more dynamic and could kind of have some more emergent gameplay, and things that kind of can be player crafted a little bit. But I think there's good progress. Definitely, now we have a system to do these events. We just have to make sure it adds value, and the level designs are interesting. We have this little one with the washer and dryer, maybe a much bigger one that happens with a car that like careens through, a big chunk of the house, and we just like have pieces of house go flying off, and there's a giant opening or something. I don't know. I'm going to give it some thought. Another idea too is like getting the dog antagonist back in who will like chase you around the map. Um, that could be interesting. It could add like a layer that maybe has more value than I realize. Right now, I think it could be like a slight interest. It'll basically just block off the outside to where like your first few moments are really important. But who knows? Maybe it gives like a really fun ski free style vibe where like you're always worried that the dog will find you. So I don't know. Anyway, I think recapping what we did today, made an elevator, made the second floor, made the security camera that freezes the raccoons and makes them retreat once the camera's off of them. We got this cool transparency thing that when the second floor is activated, it becomes visible. So you actually don't really know what's going to be up there until you are up there, which is fun. Actually opens up an ability for us to have a whole second floor of the house, which now that I said that out loud is actually kind of a big deal because like we can have it totally transparent, and then when someone goes up there, they can have their whole turn up there. We do have to be careful that the duration that they can be up there is timed. But anyway, got that done. We got the game system for doing events done, and then we made a first event with the washer and dryer. We did some tiny level design tweaks. Unsure if they'll actually be fun. I also made the jump. So a ton of stuff got done today, which is really great. Tomorrow, I'm probably going to be working on getting these spawn points finally on the mobile devices. So you can pick which spawn point you're at, and only the ones that are real are available on your mobile device, which will be a little trickier than it sounds. Because right now there's just a static number on the device. It's always 12. And then after that, maybe making a second and or third world event. And then if there's even more time, probably won't be, but I really need to make sure that these like add value to the experience. Like obviously they're like flashy, but like are they just kind of are they really just juice on top? It's like, okay, yeah, I moved there and I saw a thing animate and that's juicy. But like, is the game loop fun? Like, do I like making choices? Do I feel like this is interesting? Having the animations are nice, but do they impact my choices in a meaningful way? Do I choose differently? Do I strategize differently? Do I look at the game differently because of them? So I think I need to sleep on that and like get a couple more in and play test and just like start to see how people react to them and how they think about them. But anyway, that should be all for tonight. I hope everyone has a wonderful night, and I'll see you next stream.